pornography is like a symptom. When I became a born again, it became worse. From 30 minutes to an hour until to 8 hours. Because the dopamine that it releases too much. That gives you excitement.
How did you know that you are addicted?
Delete social media. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I had to remove. Because they are supporting the addiction. Because whenever you go to Instagram, nowadays it's like, you will see anything you want there. Some guys, their manhood is no longer working without watching it. And they are married, these people.
Even though you are not watching, you are imagining someone else. Well, yes, you are with this one.
Yeah. People watch it even when they're at work. A lot. At church is there. I used to pray. I prayed in tongues, but I couldn't stop.
Hola, hello, Sanbonani, Dumelang, Absheni, Guten Morgen, or Guten Morgen. Yeah, they actually helped us with the pronunciation.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Guten Morgen. Hello, my mense, hoe gaan dit? Goeiemôre, goeiemiddag, of goeienaand. And welcome to I've Been Through the Most podcast right here on Centtwinz TV. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us today. We are so honored. And of course, the more you come back is the more we keep the content coming, because we love it here. We're changing lives, man, and it feels good. And it feels incredible. Please do comment in the comment section down below. My favorite section for sure, because I really love what you have to say. Whether it's a question, opinion, or just a comment, we truly appreciate it. We are also on our different social media platforms. We are TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X. We are there, and we do read all your comments there as well. So we look forward to meeting you there as well. Let's get into our episode today. Yes, before we do that, also make sure to listen to us on audio platforms such as Spotify, as well as Apple Podcast.
Correct.
So there's many audio platforms. Make sure you show us some love over there. Make sure to like and follow as well, just to let the algorithm know that there's something interesting happening here.
Yeah.
And remember to subscribe, okay? You have to be a subscriber, Cent fam. You can't just watch the videos. To subscribe is completely free. Help us to get to 500,000 subscribers. That is our next goal, and we know with your love and your support, it's definitely a goal that is achievable. Let's get to the conversation. Welcome, John.
Thank you, guys.
Or rather, welcome back. Because you are not a stranger to Centtwinz TV. You joined us, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah.
When we still had it as a documentary series where you document your own story, and your episode was hectic. It was nearly hectic, and it did so well. I mean, so much truth and honesty was shared.
Yes.
And
vulnerability.
It's never just about you. It's about other people. I always say, some things, especially when you've been through them, you might as well just move on with your life and be happy. But having to revisit, certain things and tell your story is not easy, but it's so selfless. So that's why I'm glad you're here today. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And for those who did not watch the first episode, can you briefly introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Lehwelere John Sibanyone. The first episode I spoke about addiction of pornography. Yeah, that was a hectic episode.
Yes.
I had to be honest, but it really made me to see the power that we possess as people. It made me to understand that God loves us. God wants us to become the best version of ourselves. So yeah, that was it. Sharing about my experience of how I became addicted to pornography and how God took me out of it. And yeah, that was it.
And before that journey, maybe to take us back to your childhood, what kind of child were you growing up?
I grew up in a family where I think, the power of poverty makes parents always go and look for money and look for a better life for us. But they leave a door where kids will be raised by either aunts or the street, So for me, it was how I watched it. Someone has to introduce me to it. Then TV, there was a show on TV called Emmanuel or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how everything started.
So you said somebody introduced you to it.
Yeah.
Who's that somebody?
I can't name him.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, not like their name, but it's just like
you know,
it's
in
a
the street.
relative
No,
or in the
street.
street.
Yeah,
Okay.
via magazine. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, where are you now? Because I can imagine, maybe also just take us through how the experience was after the episode aired. Because I'm sure some people know you either from church or the streets and they had no idea what your story was about. How was it after the episode aired?
You know, I think people started laughing at me.
Mm.
You know, like in the street, family members called. Why did you do that? Why did you say those words? You know, I think people felt like as if I'm blaming my mom, but I was not blaming my mom. You know, and they took it from a wrong view, you know. And for me, I was like, no, I'm not blaming this woman. I'm not blaming everything around me. What I'm just saying is those things played a role. You know, and at church, you know, that's where I knew church. I think church is for holy people who don't have scars, who are perfect. You know, and for me, I knew that many church people, pastors, they're in it. You know, I knew, you know, a lot of people that I knew in my contact that they're in it. But the way they were approaching me is like I did something wrong, you know, for me to speak about it. But most later I came back to say, hey, you know, my man, you know, do you know this message of this pastor where this pastor is talking about the addiction of pornography? In a way, they're saying, I'm in it, I'm having a problem, but they can't say it straight to me. Yeah, so for me, it was, it's okay, guys. Let's find a solution.
Yeah. So it opened up a conversation, a very necessary conversation,
Definitely.
especially to have at churches, that this is something that does exist, and you might have gone through it. Somebody is probably going through it, or somebody's probably gonna go through it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have these conversations, we're unable to help. Now let's get into your story, because we're not gonna assume that everybody watched it, because we've got hundreds of thousands more subscribers from the last time that you were here. So maybe just take us through that a little bit, and we'll take it from there.
You know, pornography is like a symptom. It's a symptom to an issue that is existing in you. But we are trained to look at the symptom as the big problem.
As the actual illness.
Yeah, as if...
Can't you know, it's just a symptom of the problem or the sickness.
Yeah.
Got you.
So it's like a coping mechanism. Because as a human being, whenever we find ourselves in issues, especially internal issues, we tend to external solutions. So you cope with it. It's not as something that if I have this problem, I'm going to this solution. But eventually, because we're people of habits, it's going to become an habit. That every time when you have a problem, you go to it. So for me, it started like that. You know, like I was introduced to pornography is when we were kids, we play outside in the street. One of the kids came with a magazine, you know, and you start to see naked people, naked women. And I was like, what is this? You know, because some they've been in it. They're like, oh, there's a show. You can watch it on ETV, you know. And that's how, for me, it becomes like a game. It's like I was so curious, what is this thing? You know. Then we started like that, grew in it, didn't see anything wrong with it, because I was like, I'm a kid, no one is saying you don't have to watch this, you know. And yeah, so to a point where when I started having phones, you know, people tell you can go to this website, you can do this about, and to download. Yeah, you know, at school you find, you know, kids watching it at the corner, and we go and watch it and we laugh about it. Yeah, but the moment I became a born again, it became worse compared to when I was not, because the time there was no guilt. This one now, when I became a born again, it became worse. From 30 minutes to an hour until to 8 hours. That's how I was watching it.
8 hours straight.
8 hours straight. No, because you'll get tired.
Breaks in between.
Yeah, you sleep, you wake up, you go to it. Maybe let's say you wanted to do something, like, I'll see that thing. Yeah, because the dopamine that it releases too much. That gives you excitement, and you're like, this one is better than doing the work. Let me focus on this. But when you check, it's 8 hours already.
You get addicted to the feeling.
The feeling, because we want to feel good about ourselves. Because there's a foundation of self-hate, negative, concept about you. This one gives you to feel good about yourself, feel that you're important, so that's how I was addicted to it. And I started opening about it, like in church. They're like, yo, brother, you're not alone, let's pray. Like, we prayed, and I'm not saying prayer don't work, because I was
about to ask, did prayer help?
Yeah, prayer helps.
Yeah,
but you need to do the work.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the work. So that's how I was addicted, and it was a journey. When you grew up, they say these words of, you'll never be anything if you don't have education. So you're like, I don't love school. You understand? Education is like the key. If you don't have it, you are nothing. So for me, those kind of things made me to, if I have a stress of not performing school, I tend to it. And also as men, we don't have fathers who can tell you, John, at this age, no, you start to want to know a woman. Those kinds of conversation. So what does that do to you? When you say woman, you don't know how to even to share a woman. You understand? Now you turn to these things to give you tips. Then what they do is, now every time when you want to learn about sexuality, you go to it. For me, then it started like that, to a point where I was like, this thing makes me feel good about me. Right? Because we need to understand something. The apartheid system made our parents to hate themselves. So they took that hate, they transferred it to the next generation. The next generation, we're not in the apartheid era, but we behave as if we were there. So what it does is, you don't have a good self-image about yourself, a positive self-concept about yourself. So you have self-hate. So what does that do to you? You look for solutions that will make you feel good. So for me, it was porn. Porn makes you feel good, makes you relax, it makes you all those things. But it's like I was taking a pill that later on, it will become a problem for me.
Because yours was extreme.
Yeah.
I think in the episode you shared, I don't know how many times, but you gave numbers.
Like it's that you start small. Anything you start small. That's why I'll give an example of how you start driving a car. You start small. They'll never take you to the main road, but they take you to those smaller roads.
Where there's no other cars.
Yeah, because you have to get used to it. Yes. So it started like 2 seconds, 2 minutes. You grow in it. You grow in it until where it's like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, until when you look it's like 8 hours. That means like the whole day you are watching it. You understand? So for me, it becomes that extreme, to a point where, like, I can't do nothing. I'm just watching in this. Then it becomes a big problem now, right? But I can do a work for someone. But for anything that deals with me, I can't do it for me. Why?
So you couldn't be productive?
Yes, to anything that helps me. But for you, I can work. If you say, let's go to this place, I'll go with you. But if I say, I need to read the book, I can't. So the best solution for me is watch pornography. But one thing that I've come to understand with it is, because we lack self-love. We don't have self-love. We lack it. And I go to it to look for love. Because it never judge you. It will never talk to you and be like, hey, you're not good enough, you're not handsome. It's quiet. It gives you that stimulation where you feel good about yourself. Then you sleep. Then you focus to the next day.
How did you know that you are addicted?
The time that I was spending in it. That's when I knew it's not normal.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, before you become a born again, you don't have this conscious guilt. You don't have it. It's like when you're doing it, it's a normal thing. But when you turn to God,
come on,
you'll be like, there's something wrong with this thing.
It's like nobody has to tell you.
Yeah.
You just know. Like this, it's like the Spirit of God reveals it to you that
You can feel
this one is a sin.
I started noticing it there, and I was like, nah. You know, like I used to pray. I prayed in tongues. But I couldn't stop. And that's why I say to you, church is like it's for holy people. Because whenever you call someone a pastor or a member, the first thing is, let's pray. And I said to God, nah, man, this prayer, we've been praying for too long. There must be another issue here that we're not dealing with. So I said to God, God, remove everyone around me. It's time to face myself. Because I came to a point where I knew we're always reading about Jesus, King Solomon, all that. We're knowing them, but we don't know anything about ourselves. Then God said to me, one day I was praying, said, why are you searching for what you already have?
Yo.
I'm like, okay, what do you mean? We're searching for happiness outside of ourselves. We're searching for love, things that we have. But we don't know that we have them because we're trained to go and look for them. So I had to stop and renew my mind and deal with me, because the issue is not outside, it's
The issue is
in me.
in you. So maybe then take us through the deliverance process, because you're passing through the story as you're going to speak about something else. But just to help someone out there to say, look, I hear you, Brother John, and I'm still in there. I'm still living in sin, and this is still an addiction that I want to overcome. What are some of the measures that you took and some of the steps that you took to be delivered from that? And I call it deliverance because when something is beyond you, that even when you don't want to do it, you still do it. It's like a stronghold. That's why it's called an addiction. So it's gotten to a point where it takes over. So how was that deliverance process for you? What measures did you take? And then we'll move on.
So I'll give you an example with alcohol, because I used to drink alcohol. Alcohol is like a symptom also to an issue. So what I did is I took the same principle that I used when God said you must leave alcohol. Is the first thing is to acknowledge that you have a problem. Then acknowledging what you do is you must make a decision. Because to overcome something is not easy. Fail is part of the process. You will fail, but patience is required, and self-love is required. So what I did is I made a decision that, Lord, I'm leaving this thing. Right? Then I had to externally remove things that support this thing. And then, so what I did is I knew I was lacking self-love. I knew I had a negative foundation about myself. So I need to find the truth, right? So what I did is I took the late Dr. Miles' messages. I took a man called Bob Proctor, because I looked for people who are dealing with the mind. Because one thing I knew, when the Bible speaks about the heart, it's not talking about this organ. Speak about the subconscious mind.
Sure.
So I had to understand, what is the subconscious mind? So I was studying only that subject. What is the subconscious mind? And how is subconscious mind being developed or being trained or formed? So what I did is, when we're born, when you're an infant, there's a foundation that you get from culture, from our parents, from the environment, from education. They form beliefs about you, conviction and attitude about you. Then when you grow up, you reinforce that foundation.
Yes.
I had to go back and ask myself, these beliefs I have about self-love towards myself, where did I get them? I write it down. The beliefs about money, where did I get it? The belief about Christ, where did I get it? I had now to change those beliefs through what? Reading the Bible, listening to those messages. So I had to listen to one message about 6 months I'm not in a rush to learning about finance or anything. I have to learn about the mind, the heart
So
first.
that you can control it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that. But I was failing. As I was learning, I was failing. So sometimes when you fail, you go back and say the solution is to watch pornography because it's easy.
Yes, it's the easy way out.
Yeah, you don't have to put the work. But I had to say, you know what, at the end of the day, no one is coming to change me. I had to deal with myself.
Yeah.
And I had to remove the victim mentality.
Yes.
To say, my mom did this, my mom said that, oh, this teacher said this. I had to remove those things. And I said to myself, it ends here. So I had to take responsibility. Because when you read Matthew chapter 4, verse 17, when Jesus speaks about repent, he was giving you the responsibility to change your mind. I had to say, I can't always depend on the pastor. Sunday to preach, then Monday until Saturday, there's nothing I'm doing. So I had to take responsibility to read. Now I had to buy books. Any books that deals about potential, releasing your potential, maximizing your potential,
Understanding your potential.
understanding your potential.
That's Dr. Miles. She's got all the books.
You know I love it.
She's got all the books.
So I had to read those books. Then I had to delete social media. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I had to remove. Because they are supporting the addiction. Because whenever you go to Instagram, nowadays it's like, you will see anything you want there.
Yes.
So
So
I-
you can search for anything
Yeah.
that you want.
Yeah.
So it's quicker on the search engine. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there is work that you need to put in. It's not easy to overcome an addiction. It's not easy for a deliverance process to take place. It's always time and hours and sacrifice
You
that's
have to
invested there.
sacrifice,
And we
yeah.
thank God, for your deliverance and for your healing. Where are you now?
The gene is nice. The gene is nice. I wanted to open a foundation, to help guys and ladies. But when God wants you to do it in a different form. So what happened is I went to a Bible college in Centtwinz. They call it Carey's Bible College. Because when I was studying about the body, the soul, I couldn't understand the spirit part. So I was praying to God, how does the spirit works? Because I didn't know that I'm a spirit being. I thought that I'm a body and the soul at the same time. But I didn't know that I'm a spirit being. So I was finding it difficult to understand it. God brought a man to my life to say, you need to go to a Bible college. I'm like, hi, my brother, Bible college? 12 months? No. I need a quick solution. But I went there. When I got there, they're teaching about spirit, soul, and body. So they were adding to what I was building on. That changed me to understand that there's nothing outside of me that has power over me. Unless I give it power. But there's nothing. I had to understand that we are a spirit being. We possess a soul. We live in a body. The soul is the issue. The renewal of your mind is in the soul. Your spirit is perfect. But the soul is the issue. So I had to understand those things. And I need to understand that we have two minds. Conscious mind and subconscious mind. The conscious mind is where you make quick decisions. Where to where is the conscious decisions. But the real decisions, they're coming in your soul. That's why the Bible speaks about guard your heart.
Yeah.
Because out of it, life flows. As a man thinketh, where? In his heart.
So is he.
So I had to understand those things. Then I had to work on dealing with the soul. Then one day I went to a company, I wanted to register something. And the CEO there said to me, God said, I must tell you not to do this thing you are doing in a foundation. Open a consulting company. Then changed everything, opened a consulting company. So I call it Inner Wealth Consulting. Inner wealth, meaning anything you want is in you. So now we're doing good, We're getting clients, especially young people who are doing big things in industries. They're like, I thought I'm the only one. All they're speaking the same thing. I have a partner in my life, but I'm struggling with this thing. Yeah, so that's where we are, running a consulting company where we want to focus on the solution. Because in the consulting, the first thing I tell people is, don't speak about your addiction. Let's find the solution. Because if you remember, God said, let the weak say, I'm strong. We can't always dwell on, I'm weak. No. Let's focus on the solution. Yeah.
In your organization, right? So you meet a lot of people, and I can understand these are people from different professions and different industries as well, in the different levels, like from CEOs to business people. And I think people underestimate that this is something that can literally happen to anyone. And because you openly spoke about it, what are some of these things that you are hearing from people?
You can wear a suit, drive a Mercedes-Benz, run a big company, but the addiction does not respect those things. There's a lot of guys that, we look at them, we're like, this guy, I want to become him. But whenever they ask me, John, what do you do? I'm like, I help people with overcoming addiction of pornography. The room changed. They're like, what do you mean? Tell me more. And then we talk. Some guys, their manhood is no longer working without watching it. And they are married, these people. Meaning, if the wife and the man needs to be intimate, they have to watch it first.
Sure.
For the guy can now function. It's like it's replacing woman. Because you need to understand, men, we as men, we look from the outside before we go into the in of a woman. So if you look at what the industry is doing, it's changing women. If like a skin lady, thick, you're not a good woman. They are putting a woman in a certain structure that a woman must be like this. That's why you see people now are chasing that type of a woman.
Because the industry plays that. They created to say, this is what looks hot.
Yeah. The rest, nothing. So men now, because of that, and because some men have money, it's easy to get it. And a lot of men, married men, are watching it. Some are even cheating because they can't even open to their wife. Because it's not an easy thing to tell a wife that, hey, I'm watching something here. She'll be like, what do you mean? Some women see it as cheating also.
And I think the fantasy as well, because then you have fantasies of expecting your wife to be doing what these people are doing, to look like these people, to behave like these people, and then you're like, Makoti's hair is boring because wow, she's not doing the things, and nothing happens. It's like load shedding, you know, until you switch it on, because then you're attracted by that. But how do you explain to her that I'm finding that more attractive than you?
And that's why the power of imagination is so powerful. Because we think in pictures.
So you in your mind, even though you are not watching, you are imagining someone else. Well, yes, you are with this one.
Yeah, because we think in pictures. Let me give you an example. If I ask you, where did you park your car? What comes to your mind? You will direct me, you'll be like, turn left, you'll find this picture, or you'll find this.
You even see your car actually in the parking lot.
Then imagine if something you are repeating it over and over. What happens to your mind?
So you can watch an entire movie just sitting in your room without watching it, basically.
Yeah, but your mind, or with your wife, being intimate with your wife, but your mind is somewhere else.
Sure.
But the body is here. It's far. You're thinking about someone else, but your body is here.
And yeah, that time she's like, wow.
Yeah. and you're like, yo,
That is not you.
No.
It's in a different country.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of men and women they're in it. In office spaces is there.
While you're at work?
Yeah, people watch it even when they're at work. A lot. At church is there. Let me tell you, I think at church is even more.
You know why? I think, my opinion, is that some people would feel like it's less of a sin for them to go that route than to like sleep with someone, because then like then I'm fornicating, then I'm sinning. So if I'm doing it this way, then I'm still safe.
Yeah.
Not seeing the danger that you are causing, you know. And self-gratification is a sin anyway. So, but people feel like at least I'm not soul tying to sister Mang Mang or to brother Mang Mang. It's just me. And also there's another assumption that only men
Yes.
Women.
are addicted to pornography.
Sure.
The numbers are rising. It's going higher. That's why nowadays you find young people addicted to older people. Because I can't do something that I've never learned about or watched. I have to see it first for me to want to do it.
Yes.
So it's somewhere.
Yeah, because now, like, our society, they don't, like, I can't talk anything with someone, like maybe your sister or your brother, anything sexually. It's like you'll see it, guys. You'll see it out there. Who's teaching me? And one thing that we as people, we don't see is we're too occupied. We're chasing the dollar. We're leaving homes open for who? The enemy to enter. You are buying your kids iPhones. What are they watching?
Yeah.
So for me, I've seen a lot of people who are in it.
Sure.
Like from celebrities, pastors, church leaders, sports people. Even in sports is there. A lot of soccer players, they watch it.
Not because there's a lack of partners, but just because you simply just addicted.
And let me tell you why we watch pornography. Because you're a spirit, there's a purpose you were born to do in life. Because you don't know it, your soul creates emptiness. There's a void. Yes, you can achieve other stuff that you do outside, but in you, there's still that void. So you're trying to fill the void with an external thing. Can be alcohol, can be pornography, can be drugs. And but when you turn to external, you're not solving it. You know, since I accepted that I must help people with the addiction, that emptiness, like, it left me. Gone. No, I don't even want to watch it anymore. I'm happy without it. I'm enjoying life without it.
Yeah.
And I have developed good coping mechanism.
Such as?
Now I read. And now I'm no longer afraid of my thoughts. I face them. Because sometimes, let's say you don't have any money in your bank account. What do? You don't want to deal with that if you don't have money in the bank account. You go the shortcut. So facing the fact that reality, yes, I don't have it, but does not define me. What are the solutions to make money? You see, now you face the reality. You're no longer saying, I don't want to deal with the reality.
Escaping.
You're not escaping.
Yes, you are not choosing an alternative to watch maybe pornography for the whole day. You actually going to deal with the issue at hand. Directly. You know? Oh, wow. That's actually a powerful thing. That really is a powerful thing. And I think that's the power of also maybe, like, you know, sports, activities, people to try and stimulate their brain somehow.
Yeah.
You need to occupy with yourself, because what do you replace that time with? You know? Sure, I think very interesting conversation. maybe before we close, right? To really just talk about the support that people need when they're going through something like that. And because you did speak with it's an addiction, yes, there's a part where it's first a habit, then it becomes an addiction. So which means that this person is in a journey of discovery and is in a journey of fighting something that is beyond them.
Yeah.
How important is it to have the right support? And also, you who is addicted, how important is it for you to open up and speak to your partner or friend or whatever to say, listen, I'm in trouble. This started as a 2-minute thing, but now it's a, Konja, how many hours? 8 hours.
8.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what I did. I'll talk about me first. I said to God, I don't want to go to therapy. I'm not saying therapy don't work. Or to a pastor, because they've been praying for me so long. I said, Lord, let me face me. Because I think the issue is me. Because one thing as people, we are afraid of ourselves. We don't want to deal with ourselves. It's easy to deal with someone else, but us, I had to deal with me first. So I did that, but I had to be open to my sister. To be like, hey, sister, I have an issue. I watched this thing. She never judged me. But the people who judged me, I knew they are in it.
Oh.
You can. Why will you judge me if you're not watching it? I'll judge you because it's like you're tricking me also. So a lot of people who judged me, they are in it. But for me, the support I got from my family is because of my conviction. They had to say, we see you are serious about this thing. We will support you. So anyone I met, I had to die to self in terms of like, I'll use this word. I don't care what you think about me. That's the opinion I have about me and what Jesus think about me is the best opinion. The external one, I'm okay with it. Because if I do good, you'll judge me still. If I do bad, you'll judge me. But what I think about me and what God thinks about me is good for me. So I will speak about it to people. What do you do? I'm a brother. I help people with the addiction of pornography. What do you mean? People want to learn more. But what I did is I had to die to self. But for someone who wants to open to your partner, open a room for disappointment. Open it. Some they will leave you. You must know that. Some they'll say you can't be serious about this thing. Am I not good enough for you? Because they will make it about themselves now.
Yeah.
Not about you seeking help. And for men to open up is difficult. Because they train us to be strong. But it's good to open up. But open a space for rejection or someone leaving. Open it up. Yeah, because like if you look at the stats where we are as a country, before COVID, we're number 19 in the world as a country.
Oh, really?
Africa, we are number 1. That's people who watch pornography. But in the world, in time spending, we're number 2.
Time spending?
Yeah. People watch it. That industry can be $1 billion industry. Before COVID, it was like close to becoming a $1 trillion industry. But no one is admitting that they are watching it.
I think for me, what scares me the most, I once went to a pageantry, and this young girl, she won. Her name is Bontle. She won, and she spoke about the stats of pornography, and she also spoke about that percentage, like the I can't remember what percentage she says. She said that's minors. Those are minors that are actually watching. A big percentage of people who watch pornography are minors. And she was like, kids are bringing in money into this industry. And nobody is talking about it. And we spoke about our kids having smartphones and the internet. But how do you block them from having access to that? Especially because we don't openly have these conversations. They can openly search for these things.
Yeah.
Curiosity. And it's like, oh, no, my kids' eyes are pure. Can they unsee it?
Yeah.
But you can only have control so much over that. But unfortunately, there are kids consuming that kind of content every single day.
As a country, I think we need to teach our kids to love themselves. Because I'll only love you to the same degree I love myself.
And they need to understand that concept, because that's something we've been hearing for years. Love yourself, but you need to get to a point where you understand the concept of how to love yourself. Sometimes it comes with growth, sometimes it comes with years, sometimes it comes with experience. You experience something hectic in your life and you learn to love yourself. Sometimes you have to be rejected. Things have to happen. It's easier said than done. You must first even know who you are.
You understand? What is your purpose? There's a scripture where God speak about, he says, love him with your mind, your heart, and your soul.
Love the Lord your God with
Yeah.
all your heart, your mind, and your soul.
But that part where it says, you love your neighbor.
As you love yourself.
So imagine this. I claim to say I love you, but I have self-hate towards myself. What does that create? Insecurities. Doubts, all those things. So we need to teach our kids to know that they are the best. They are not a mistake. That, listen, they were born for a solution. There's a problem that they have solution for. They need to discover it.
Yeah.
And they don't need an external opinion of who they are. But they start at home.
How can you tell, for example, parents with young kids, I don't want to say boys because it could be girls as well, with young kids, that signs to pick up maybe if your child is in closing
Last
years?
question.
Always, if you see your child always look with headset, I'm not saying all of them, people with their headset in their room, they are watching. No. I'm saying every time when you see your child always covering themselves with a blanket, at night when they come, they'll like
Jump,
or just create a conversation. Look at their eyes. They'll look down. They'll be like, no, me, mommy, I don't do this. I don't know anything about it. Monitor them. Because no one can just admit and say, I have this problem. It takes time.
Sure.
It takes time. Like there's a client that I work with. That guy, he said to me, there was a time I wanted to kill myself because of this thing. And he's doing a big profession. Yeah, and he was like, I'm tired.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, but it's because he said, the more I speak to you, I'm like, it's like the more I speak to you, I'm getting there. But I said, at the end of the day, you're the one who's have to do the work. So parents need to sit down with their kids, and companies needs to now sit down with their employees. They have to.
HR. If you have a problem, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And opening up, like
And
you
a
said,
church,
the first step is to admit.
I will say this. I sent that video to one lady.
Yes.
After watching it, she never came back to me because they wanted to invite me to their church to come and speak.
Yeah.
Gone. Why? Because they are a brand. They don't want to associate with this.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, 90% they're in it.
Sure.
So it's
That's
time for us to speak
Yeah.
about it, open about it. But I want people to look at it. It's easy to overcome addiction. But the difficult part is what? The work.
The work. The difficult part is the work.
Yeah.
And I think you so well explained it in today's episode. And I'm so glad because we run away from serious societal issues like this that are affecting us every day, and
Yeah.
nobody speaks openly about it, and so it becomes a bigger problem that continues to grow out of hand. And I'm so glad we addressed it. I hope somebody's helped, hope somebody learned something. I hope that you know that you're not alone, and that there is help out there
Yeah.
to ensure that you can be okay. I mean, I look at John, right, even from the previous episode, like, oh my goodness, you actually did put in so much work. It's like a different person completely. You know, I mean, at the time, of course, he was over it, but you can see when you've invested in yourself what comes out of you, and he's able to now pour out, you know, from his cup to other people because you have invested that time and put in resources and energy to make sure that you are a complete person. And well done to you. We celebrate you. May you continue to empower other people and advance the kingdom of God.
Yeah, but just to add, you guys also played the role.
What did we do?
You remember that time we were driving from Pumalanga?
Yes.
There. That was a good experience also, but you played a role.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys like really made me to open up
Yeah.
about a lot of things in that drive. And
Sure.
yeah, it really helped.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
it really helped. It
amazing.
really helped. Yeah.
It helps not to be judgmental.
Yeah, because you
know?
guys like you never judged me. You're like, John, let's go. It was like you made it as you never even always talking about it, but you're like, John, but yeah, you'll be okay. You'll get there, you know. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today
Look
God
at
has
you.
blessed you with an entire business to help other people, you know,
people.
in higher
Yeah.
places. So may God continue to give you the grace to be able to do the work that you're doing. Well, thank you so much, Saint Fam, for watching. Thank you for your comments that are coming
Yes.
below, because I know they are already streaming down.
Yeah.
Do you know someone who has been addicted to pornography? Have you been addicted to pornography? What work have you put in? Is it still a struggle for you, or do you know someone who has overcome it and who is like John and who is a true inspiration? Let us know all about it down below. You can also send us an email, centtwinz@gmail.com, or I've been through the most @gmail.com.
Can you imagine also maybe like, you know, being married and you don't know how to deal with this issue, and your partner is addicted, and you sort of just feel like there's a third person in the marriage, because it's like you, and then it's this addiction, and then it's your partner, and they refuse to let this go, and you find yourself stranded and not knowing who to talk to, and not knowing what to do. I mean, there are solutions and there is help out there. So never keep these things to yourself. You know, I know it's very, very hard to open up and to talk, especially the first time, but there are solutions, there is help, and we wish you all the best. And thank you so much for watching. From the team that makes it happen behind the scenes right here at Centtwinz TV, myself, Millicent,
Myself, Innocent, and Mr. John.
Thank
Bye
you,
for
guys.
now.